start with your name and where you're from.
Hoe dahe, Jaje wajaje Pankawatanke, Hominy, Oklahoma.
All right, great. All right, right ahead.
All right, my name's John T. with NSU in Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions. I want to
Yeah.
start off with your childhood. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Uh, what do you recall about your childhood? Anything that sticks out?
Um, are you asking like culturally,
Yeah,
or
it could
just any?
It could be cultural.
Um, the mainly a lot of baseball. Growing up, baseball. But the main thing is we have our Osage Launchka dances every June, and that's in the summer. The things I remember most is my parents cooking for, thousands of people. So they'd be cooking for, that many people when our dances are going on. Our Ilonska dance has two sessions, one in the afternoon and one for, after dinner. So they would cook dinner all day or, cook all day, and then they would have, we'd break and eat at 5 and then go back to dancing at 8 o'clock. So I guess my mom and dad around the fire cooking
Yeah.
my childhood.
Where did you live and go to school?
Hominy, Oklahoma. It's just about maybe 45 minutes away from Tulsa, northwest of Tulsa. It's went to Head Start there. Went to grade school, Horseman Elementary. Went to the Hominy Middle School, and then went to the Hominy High School and graduated there.
What do you remember best about your parents?
They were always strict. They were always loving, kind. Didn't have a whole lot of money, but were always happy. That's the best way I could explain it. They taught me more. Our values were not the dollar, but family. So we have a pretty big family. That was more important than money.
Uh, did you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have two sisters. Tina, she lives in Washington, Seattle, Washington. Allison, she lives around the Stillwater area, and my brother lives in Broken Arrow. So they're all. My sisters are older, and my brother's younger than me. But my dad has just brothers and sisters, so we have a lot of cousins everywhere. So.
What did you and your siblings do in your spare time?
A lot of fishing, hunting, a lot of baseball, softball, a lot of swimming. So yeah, just mainly little town stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your family have any special traditions, such as like for holidays, birthdays?
Our birthdays, we have a dinner. We invite, of course, our whole family would come over, but we also play a game. It's called Indian Dice, and we play that everyone's birthday if they're old enough to play it. And it's just a game that the Osages have. It's a dice and bowl. It's not a traditional like dice with dots on it. It's animals and made out of buffalo bone ribs. So we carve them, make them into a little dice, and that's how we play. And it's usually 1 to 12 the score, and there's a scoring how you keep score with the dots and the animals and stuff. So that's one of the things I just remember always playing. We always play at Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. So just everyone's like, bring your change. So yeah, we play with change, quarters, dimes, nickels, things like that. So.
When did you leave home? Like,
So I graduated high school. I got I had a scholarship to Wichita State Shockers for baseball. That summer I broke my leg, lost the scholarship. Ended up going to Seminole Nation, played baseball there. So right after high school, left, went for a couple years, came back home, started working, got married, and had kids, and I moved to Pawnee. So that's a town probably about maybe 45 minutes west of Hominy. So yeah, I met my wife, and we kind of moved to Pawnee and had raised our kids there, and then eventually got divorced and came back home. And my boys followed me, and I have two boys, Braden Sleeper, he's 21, Connor, he's 18. He goes to school here in SU. Very thankful. Good, it's a good town, good place. I'm comfortable with him being here, happy. But yeah, I come back to Hominy and raised them there, and they raised pretty good children, pretty good men. So,
I see that you're involved in powwows. You said.
no, not powwows. Our launch dance is every June, and it's not a powwow. It's a ceremonial dance.
Ceremony.
It's we do it every June. First week of June is Pasuli, which is Gray Horse. Hominy Osages have 3 districts: Fairfax, Hominy, and Pahasca. Hominy is Onzoli. That's the second week. Pahasca is the end of the month, and it's Wakachele is the name of it. So that's the end of the month.
Okay.
So we do go to powwows, but we don't contest.
Yeah.
We just dance because we want to. It feels good. I love to listen to the drum songs. So
Is that because of any cultural beliefs that you choose?
we were raised not to do that. So our Osage cultural, we don't do a lot of things we do a long time ago. Tattoos. Neither my brother or my boys. We don't have tattoos. That was a special thing that our tribe did. So we don't, even today, we don't do them. Our family doesn't do them today. My lineage goes back to Black Dog, so you'll hear a lot of history about Osages, and that's one of the names you're going to hear really big is Black Dog. So that's Shonke. So that's one of the family traits, or one of the families that you're going to hear is Black Dog, and that's where we come from. So, and we kind of stick straight to what we're taught. So, I'd like to get a tattoo, but I respect my father, his wishes. So.
Do your sons, do they participate in any of this?
Yeah, we all dance. You have to get a name. So we all, we're in the Peyote church, and we get our names that night, and we don't come out of the Peyote church till around 12 the next day. And by then, when the sun rises, you'll get your name. You know, you stay up all night, and our person that names us will give our names in that morning. As soon as the sun, we greet the sun in the morning, and then he gives us our name. So it's a little different. Some tribes do the same thing, but you know that's how we do ours. So it doesn't mean that it's more ceremonial than everybody else's. It's just what we do.
Could you describe your hometown?
Yeah, it's just one stoplight. Everybody knows who you are. Everybody knows your family. It's hard to get away with something in town because everyone's watching you. Everyone knows you. Friday night game, football games. We're a football town. We have artists that drew paintings and murals on our buildings in our town, down Main Street. So we're known for that. His name's Shay Tullis. We're known for, we have a lot of pump jacks from oil. They're all over, just open fields, creeks, ponds, fishing, swimming. So our town is just, it's not very big, but we're pretty loud, I guess. You want to say that? That's the best way to express how we are. We're very culturally. Everyone knows Osage, and they know when June's here, it's real busy. It's the busiest time of year for our Osages, is because our family comes back from California and New Mexico, and they all come back to the dances and stuff. So it's a great town. I love it. I live there now, and I don't have any plans on leaving.
Is there any like traditional foods
Yeah. So Osages, we love our meat gravy, corn soup, pasuli, fried bread, meat pies. I mean, all the things that everybody else has too.
Yeah.
We even have grape dumplings. I mean, that's just one of those. That's really like a dessert. It's really good. Squash, corn. We have all those things that all these other tribes would have too. The three sisters, the corn, squash, and beans. We have that too. So a lot of tribes around here, they grew that. We did too, and so we have all that. Our dinners are usually big. We cook for hundreds and hundreds of people, Osage people and non-Osage people too. So it's we're always at our dances. We're always feeding somebody or feeding people that come in. Maybe they're visiting from a different country or even a different town, and we don't turn anyone down. Hey, come and eat with us. Come eat. We always feeding somebody because that's the way we were taught. That's what it's been that way for a long, long time. So we just don't change anything. Try to keep it simple.
What did your parents do for a living?
My father was a construction worker, so he did building buildings, but also he did highways. He was I'm not for sure if I'm going to say it correctly, a surveyor. So he would go out and survey the land, and then he also drove the big old trucks around. He had like a CDL license, so he drove these big. I remember him calling it earth movers and things like that, so that he would move the earth and start creating a highway and roads. He built the road from. He helped build one of the bridges over by Stillwater. So he, being a surveyor, he started out in Kansas, Topeka, Kansas. That's where he started his work there, and we moved back to Oklahoma, and he started working here. My mom, she was more of a at-home mom. She had these little jobs. We had this little sewing factory at Hominy. She did whatever she could to make money to support us. Again, like I said, in a small town, you just don't. There's not much. You have to go outside of Hominy to make pretty good money. So she did what she could around town. So.
What was your first job?
My first job was it was with a tribe, and what they did was it was a summer job for kids. So I was still in high school. So they picked these different places that you get to go to. I was really wanting to go work at the baseball fields, but I got put with a city. So we would go and clean up the lake and things like that, cut brush. Well, that year was giving back to Mother Nature. Some kind of program they had, so we had to plant trees all summer. Well, these trees, I was 16 when I started. 16 when I started that job. I'm 44 now, and those trees are huge at the lake. And I get to say, hey, I planted those. They helped plant that. It's really, really neat. So it's just working at our young age. That was my father. He just said, "Hey, I'm not making you, but you want more things, work." So we worked, mowed lawns. Got out of high school, went to college, came back home, started working different things. Worked at, I was a lifeguard for, 6 years. Then I was a United States firefighter, police officer, director of the Boys and Girls Club, and now I work with the Osage Nation Cultural Center. And teach how to make all of our clothing, make our fans, beadwork. We teach beading. We also do our genealogy. So I'm pretty lucky. I like where I'm at today. It's pretty good money, but it's also really good. I love what I do. I'm teaching our future leaders how to make our thing so it's still here tomorrow.
Did you know your grandparents or great grandparents? Or were they
So in our I knew my grandparents on both sides. My mother's father was a preacher, and my mother's mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, but it was always church. Church Monday, church Wednesday, church Sunday. It was always church. She's full-blood Choctaw, so we were always just church, 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 and singing. They sing a lot. They have all kinds of things. My grandparents on my father's side. I knew my grandma Elizabeth was my father's mom. She was a remarkable woman. She's probably about 6'2", big woman, a big Osage lady, big hands. She's the one that always would go teach us to hunt, make snares, do things like that. She always taught us neat things. My grandfather, I didn't know him as much. He was Cheyenne Arapaho. They split up a long time. I didn't get to meet him. I didn't know him. But my grandmother's father, his name's Herman McCarthy. He did a lot with the movement. He would go to Washington, D.C. a lot to help save our Peyote church. So he was detrimental for that movement. He did a lot. So everyone knows who he is. There's probably, in our town, it's a small town, but we have probably about seven men that are named Herman, and it's after him, Herman McCarthy. So my name's Herman Sleeper. My father was a Herman. My uncle's Herman Mulgree Lookout. We're related to Lookouts. There was Herman DeRoyan. They're all, after the same man. So he's very, very important to everyone. So we all have his name, carry his name. Just thankful just to know somewhat about, my grandparents as well.
Is there any like historical events or something that really sticks out that happened during your lifetime? Could be.
Can you repeat the question?
Like, is there any
Like an event or something that happened in my life?
Like a major event in your lifetime that sticks out?
In our culture, we are our first sons are called Ilampas, and you wear red. We wear red. Second son wears blue. The event that happened, the thing that I remember the most, is when my father passed. He had cancer, and in our culture, you're not to leave the body. That was a big, big thing for me. Our funerals are usually normally 4 days, so I stay with my father for 4 days. Since I'm the Olumpa, I have to. It's my job now to take care of our family and make decisions. So that's a huge, huge thing. I'm trying to prepare my son for the same thing. So I think sorry, I haven't talked about my dad in a while.
That's fine.
It's he meant a lot to everybody, but being a Elumpa, it's one of those things that you have to do the best you can. And all my uncles said the same thing, that Washkong means do your best. You don't have to be perfect, just do your best. That was one of the biggest events that changed my life, because now that was me more becoming a man than anything. Even though I was already a grown man and had kids, that made it real. You know, I'm there for my nieces, my cousins, and my family. Since I'm the oldest male, I have to take on that responsibility. So it's tough, but it it can be done.
Is there anything that you would specific that you would want to talk about or mention, or?
May I ask who's looking at this? Who's going to see it?
Well,
Is it going to be like
it's
students
open
and
to
the
public,
community?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I guess my thing I would push education, but don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you come from. Don't forget your culture. We've proven that you can be Native American and still get a good education and go far. You don't have to just choose either one. You can do both. My son's doing it today. He's going to college. He wants to do that, but he practices our religion, our culture. It's the same. If you're non-Native American, just ask. We're humans too. It'll help. Communication helps with everything. If you just ask, it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with asking. And I think that's one of our biggest things, is we don't communicate with other tribes and other ethnicities, and there's no communication. So how do we know who you are, how things are, or how can we help? And you never know. People can help each other. That's so. I would like to push education the most. Know who you are, whether you're white, black, red, green. Just know who you are, where you come from. Give back as much as you can.